to get right into this conversation, man. Like I said, I was inspired by you one time when I saw you after the Thanksgiving half race. I saw that you finished it a couple years ago. You looked like you was hurting. I ain't want to say nothing to you.
I was hurt.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but I was inspired to see it because, like, oh wow, man, because I did not know that you were a runner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I saw you crossing that finish line, I'm like, oh man, shout out to Ryan, bro. So I wanted to know, man, like, what inspired you to even start adding running to your lifestyle?
First and foremost, I appreciate y'all coming. I know you can be anywhere in the world, and thank you. Let's have a conversation. Appreciate you too. Look, running, I have an interesting relationship with running. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I never expected to be a person that was going to be running often. Started this business in 2016, so we're knocking 10 years. It was March 1st.
Y'all give it up for 10 years, y'all. 10 years.
But the thing that I was doing immediately before we started the business is that I was in law school, right? I wanted to be an attorney. And I was in the best shape of my life in law school. I was lifting, I was running, I was very active. There wasn't anything to do except to read, and then I worked out, right?
And he went to Georgetown. So obviously he did not go to a school like, Clark Atlanta where there's a party everywhere. So he went to Georgetown, so it sounds like nothing to do but work.
Campus was boring. So there wasn't nothing else to do except to run. So fast forward, start the business, and I mentioned I come in, I'm in really good shape, and then that ended quickly. Right, that being in really good shape went away very fast. I mean, like, you can see this visually. If you go back, just go on the Gather Spot Instagram, go on my Instagram, scroll down, you will see me graduating, and I'm like, I was okay. And then life just started to move past me way too quickly, where I became really unhealthy, really, really fast. And so running has been a way to reclaim that, right? And I working in a place, we have a full service restaurant. And so for the first couple of years of the business, it was extremely stressful. Didn't pay myself anything for the first 2 years. I mean, we had raised money at that point. 97 people said no before the first person said yes, right? So like, I was eating my feelings on a regular basis. And when we finally did open, I would go to the kitchen all the time. Look, I don't have time for anything that's going to take long. So like French fries. And you do that every single day, all day, right? It took a toll on me. So I've been on a journey back for the last, certainly since COVID, to just make sure that yes, the business is important, but as cliche as it sounds, like if I'm not healthy, the business can't be either.
So why is it that, from your experience, and if you can speak to others' experiences that you've heard from, like, why is it that so many entrepreneurs, founders, folks of that ilk, they start to neglect their health as they're building their business? Because, there's multiple studies out here, but there was a study that was published in 2022, I believe, that said that like 72% of people who found a company report that they not only have, mental health struggles as far as like the anxiety, the depression, which usually leads to the hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, like they go hand in hand. So why is it, do you think, that so many folks, as business starting positions start to neglect their health?
I think it's easy to accept the idea that like there is no room for anything else. That's at least the idea that I accepted. I was like, look, if I'm a real entrepreneur, real entrepreneurs do this 24/7. 10 years ago, this is peak hustle culture. This is like, if you're really about it, like this is all that you do. You don't have time to be focused on anything else. I saw recently though that there was this matrix. They were like, it's only possible to be good at, and they kind of broke life into 4 quadrants, right? So it was like your health, your business, your family, and then I think the 4th category was like extracurricular, like any other interests. The point here is that it's hard for us to master all of the different quadrants of our life at the same time. And I was over-indexing on, there was only one quadrant of my life. It was work that needed to be successful. And frankly, everything else at that point in my life could take a back burner. And I knew that I wasn't healthy, right? And I should have said this earlier, but ended up going to the doctor's office, got an annual physical, and got some numbers back that I was not happy with, right? I'm here, we started the business when I was 24, so let's say I'm 26 years old, and I'm in the doctor's office, and they're talking about I have high cholesterol. And that to me was just that wasn't going to be able to be acceptable over the long run. I had to figure out a way to make the business a priority, but at the same time make my health one too.
Shout out to going to the doctor. Just give it up for going to the doctor. That's something that a lot of people are scared to do. We act like the doctor's pet boy. It's like, we ain't never gonna get no good news. I ain't even gonna go. You know what I'm saying? But so you said the numbers were one thing. Like, what were some other things that kind of made you like turn that corner? Like, some people it's getting bad news from the doctor. Other folks is like, damn, these pants too tight now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what were some other things that was like, happening around that time that really made you be like, man, I need to make a change. I need to turn this corner.
Look, I had one moment that I remember like it was yesterday. My daughter was a big Minnie Mouse fan. Different conversation. I don't know how she became a Minnie Mouse fan. Truly, like, we never sat down one day. I was like, this is Minnie Mouse, but I don't know. That was her Beyonce. So we had to go to Disney World. We took her to meet Minnie Mouse. And while I was in the park, my back went out. Like, I had to sit down. My wife came over and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really. I can't. I guess I'm walking too much. Like, I don't know what's going on right now." But my back has gone out from walking and trying to carry my daughter around, and that was the final like. I mean, I can't be out here with a toddler not able to do regular life. And at the same time that this is happening, like, the business is gaining traction, right? So, like, we're welcoming all these people, and I mean, there was real action that was happening at the club all the time. But it just didn't sit right with me that, again, that thing was taken off. But like, here I am on a park bench at Disney World, unable to be with my child because I let my health get to a place that was unsustainable.
Yeah, like my back didn't go out, but I can relate to like chasing a toddler around. I'm having that experience right now. And it's like, I think my back muscles are strong as hell now from this experience. You know what I'm saying? I used to not be able to do a pull-up, but like now I'm in the gym like,
Having kids and just carrying kids. No, that's some of the best training. Shout out to, I think we have a kid. Yeah, shout out to the parents that know what that early child struggle is a different physically, right? And that's on top of all the other elites, the mentally, spiritually, right? Like, just physically being able to do it every single day is tough.
So, when you're getting this news and you're making this change, like, what are some of the first things that you did change? What are some of the first things you did? Because, when some people get this kind of news, they do the extreme. They're like, man, I'm joining 3 gyms. I'm going to Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, 24-hour fitness, all of them. Then some folks are like, I'm just going to drink Artist Garden all day. I'm just going to get healthy and do that. Then some people, they take the moderate route. They might hire a personal trainer or they might start walking around the neighborhood more often. Like, what were some of the things that you did when you decided, hey, man, I need to tighten up?
Look, I say this all the time in the startup context, and I believe it, right? Like, don't listen to me. If you ever start talking to me about your business, I'll be like, don't listen to me, right? Like, you spend all day, every day thinking about your business. I just spent the last 10 seconds thinking about it, right? So I'm happy to try to be helpful, but like, you're the subject matter expert on your business. I would say the same thing here, right? Like, don't listen to what I'm about to say. I'm by no means an expert, but I'm also at the same time not an incrementalist, right? Just by nature. Like, if I'm gonna do something, I do it, right? Like, I don't have a slow. Which again, if that's your approach, this is a friendly zone. Like, do it that way. But I'm a person that like likes to have more black and white rules on what I should or should not do, right? So I learned pretty quickly the foods that were not helpful to my cholesterol, and I stopped eating them. And not never ever, but like pretty consistently. Just I had to. If I could get into a different flow, then it would become natural and normal for me was my thought. And so now, like, what felt like a sacrifice years ago really doesn't feel like one now. So, I mean, I'm hesitating in giving you the particulars. I don't think that the particulars matter, right? Like, each of us has to kind of adjust in the way that makes sense. But I cut a lot of things out and prioritized being active even when I didn't feel like it, and got to a place that if running has taught me anything, is that you have to, like, the time that you have to make just to do it makes you have to reprioritize your day in ways that I think are important, right? Because before it'd be like, I don't have time to run. I got to get on that conference call. And when I get off that conference call, I got to get on another meeting. I've had to take a step back and be like, that call will be okay. Or, hey, can we start 30 minutes later? Like, I need to, this thing is also as important as whatever we're about to talk about. Given the fact that I can't give you the details of any of those conversations, none of them, Joyce, were that important, right? But that day of me pouring into myself, I would argue that day was important, right? And it's put me on a trajectory to be able to have another day like that. So, I mean, now that it's a lot easier, thank God. I mean, I'm sure many folks can relate to this. When you're just getting started, like those first several are like,
Somebody
those joys will humble you. I did join a gym, and I know a lot of folks in this community know Josh, but I joined fourth quarter performance, and I've been going there. I'm there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 in the morning, and that became a part of my routine too. Come out, I'll be there tomorrow, 5:30 in the morning.